Hello and croeso to BBC Radio Wales. I'm Ella Jones.
I'm Cameron Hitt.
Let's turn to Rhys Payne to let you know the sports news today and what's coming up.
Swansea, managerless, are victorious against Rotherham by winning the game 2-1 in a tight affair. We swiftly moved down the M4 in the Cardiff City Stadium, with Cardiff scraping a 1-0 win versus Millwall. We finally
Hello and croeso to BBC Wales. I'm Ella Jones.
I'm Cameron Hitt.
Let's turn to Rhys Payne to let you know the sports news today and what's coming up.
Swansea, managerless, are victorious against Rotherham by winning the game 2-1 in a tight affair. We swiftly moved down the M4 in the Cardiff City Stadium, with Cardiff scraping a 1-0 win versus Millwall. We finally end the football news with Cardiff Met and Haverfordwest, a stalemate affair, but Cardiff Met victorious in a 4-2 penalty shootout win. We move on to Rugby Cup, and firstly Toulouse powerhouse. Toulouse winning the game 52-7 versus Cardiff Blues in a dominating performance. And for the Dragons, but unfortunately Scarlets failed to win away from home against Castres 34-16 to the French side. Cardiff clash Wednesday 13th, as you can watch the women play at 3 p.m, men at 7 p.m. at the Cardiff Arms Park. Tickets still available now.
And thank you, Rhys. Well, straight into football news with Swansea with a 2-1 win against Rotherham. Their first win since October and their first game and win since their manager, Michael Duff. Cam, what do you think about the loss of their manager?
I think it was peculiar timing. I think a lot of the Swansea fans were expecting, Michael Duff to be a sort of long-term option for them. You know, they often, at another club, to chop and change managers on a sixpence. They often, persevere with their appointments. They want people to play the right way. And I think, as much as the results weren't there, I thought, football-wise, they were looking good, and there was certainly signs there. But yeah, I think the next appointment is so key with the position they're in the table.
Yeah, it's a shame about the loss, but it's nice to see that they are winning now, back in the winning gaming. But we have had some big responses online from Swansea footy fans on who they think should be the next Swansea coach. Yeah,
taking a look. Dan from Neath says he wants Nathan Jones to take the job. He said, forget the Swansea way, we need to start winning. Controversial opinion there. But Georgia from the Uplands in Swansea says, anyone but Nathan Jones. She says he's a Cardiff fan and shouldn't be anywhere near the club. So yeah, some different opinions online at the minute.
It's nice to see, though, that the fans are getting involved with us online. So the Swansea job has been really splitting opinions. So if you want your say, tweet us at BBC Radio Wales. Moving on to East, to Cardiff with a big 1-0 win against Millwall on the weekend. Kiefer Moore scoring for Bournemouth and Crystal Palace in their Premier League. But Cardiff's boss Errol Bullet jokes that he didn't like the fact that he scored, but had stated his desire to try and bring the Wales forward back to the club. Any thoughts, Cam?
Interesting press conference. You really see managers talking this openly about a player that has the potential to come. I think all Cardiff fans around Wales are just gasping to see Kiefer Moore back in Wales, back playing in the capital. And I think he's probably keen to be there too, knowing that there's key qualifiers coming up, potentially a Euros in the summer. He's gonna want regular week in, week out football, something he's not getting at Bournemouth. And I think it'd be nice for Welsh football in general to see a star striker playing for a Welsh club. So yeah, exciting times for Cardiff at the minute.
Yeah, it's nice to bring him back home, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a real good buzz around the club. Bullet has brought an energy and a way of playing that we haven't seen for Cardiff in years. So it's, really exciting for them. And, bright future ahead. Yeah, and obviously on Wednesday now, we see them taking on Wayne Rooney's Birmingham at the Cardiff City Stadium. Always interesting when Wayne Rooney's involved. He's had a tough start at Birmingham, but I think this is one that he really needs and his players need. But big chance for Cardiff to go get a win and get enough points to January to go and get those sidings and really look for playoff spots come May.
And this is what Errol Bullet had to say about the match.
I saw them yesterday when they was playing. They lost the game, but it will be also not the easy game. Nobody have to think, because they lost now next week, everything will go from his own. So again, we have to work hard for that game, and we have to be ready for that game because it will be a hard game to get 3 points again.
Some Welsh Cup action now as Ardal Northwest team Flint Mountain provided a shock, booking a place in the Welsh FA Cup last 16 this weekend. However, the biggest story came from Cardiff King Coed as Cardiff Met beat Haverfordwest with an outstanding 4-2 penalty shootout win.
A landmark win for Cardiff Met as they were knocked out of the Cymru Premier Europe Conference League playoffs by Haverfordwest in May. However, we did catch up with Alex Lang to tell us about the game from the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it in one of the interviews after the game on the weekend. I think any kind of cup competition, especially playoffs, you want to ideally get it done in the 90 minutes. I feel like it's a little bit more in our control within that 90 minutes. But yeah, in terms of the cup competition, it's a route to Europe as well, which is really important for us. I think we're into the quarters now, so it's 3 games from potentially getting to a European competition, which is the way we're trying to look at it. It's a really exciting opportunity. But yeah, the Welsh Cup is like loads of history as well, so it's a really important competition.
Yeah, really exciting times for Cardiff Met Uni and within Welsh football. It's been a big weekend for Welsh football outside of the local clubs also, as we take part in our regular feature of Welsh Player Watch. First up, midfielder Harry Wilson scored a screamer from 20 yards out yesterday in a huge 5-0 win against West Ham. His role has really increased this year at Fulham, becoming a huge part of Marco Silva's team.
Also, Dan James scored for Leeds this weekend, scoring against Blackburn. The Wales trio, Roden, Ampadu and James, have made a massive impact so far this season, with Leeds looking like very possible candidates for promotion from the Championship. Stepping away from footballers, manager Steve Cooper scraped an important 1-1 draw against Wolves this weekend as more and more pressures mount on him as Forest manager.
Yeah, there was also goals this weekend for Welsh youngsters Chem Campbell, Isaac Davis and Robbie Savage's son, Charlie Savage. So the future of Welsh football looks really bright, Ella.
It really does. I'm learning a lot, so thank you, Cam. Now for the Championship Cup Rugby, Cardiff Rugby suffered an unfortunate 52-7 loss against Toulouse. Cardiff Rugby's biggest loss in 17 years, and it hasn't been a great season for Cardiff Rugby, with only winning 2 games against the Stormers and the Dragons and getting a 22-all draw with the Zebra. That's not great, is it, Cam?
No, it's been a tough season for Cardiff so far, and especially on Saturday. I mean, it looks a humiliating loss on paper, but I think there was a lot of positives. And Toulouse is such a strong side. You know, obviously Antoine Dupont, Thomas Ramos, and Cardiff's just so young at the minute. You know, the one real positive about the season has been their ability to showcase these young talents they got. You know, hooker Evan Daniel, Mason Grady on the wings, been a big standout, and Mackenzie Martin scored on the weekend, and he's really come through this year.
Still sticking with rugby, but moving to the Challenge Cup, Ospreys got an impressive 43-34 bonus point win against Benetton, Welsh hooker and captain Dewi Lake with 4 tries.
Yeah, huge win for them. Ospreys really looking much stronger than they did at the start of the season. I think a huge part of that has been the reintroduction of people like Jack Morgan, flanker, and of course Dewi Lake with a massive performance on the weekend. Also, a big result again in South Wales for the Dragons. They had a huge 24-7 win against Ionix on Saturday. Rio Dyer with huge 2 tries. Big win for them. Obviously, you know, they've had a rough start similar to some of the other regions, but really showing their ability on the weekend.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed bag this weekend for the regions, with Scarlets suffering an unfortunate 34-16 loss against a strong Castres side. How do you assess the starts the regions have made this season?
I think it's a really transitional period for each region. I think there's, obviously I think there's a bit of a consensus that it's a bit of a dark time for a lot of them. You know, maybe not the powerhouses they once were in Europe and within the URC, but I think the future is definitely, bright. There's a lot of youngsters, as we mentioned, especially in Cardiff, coming through and really showcasing their ability. And with these tough financial times has come the opportunities for people like Jack Morgan and Dewi Lake, who we now see are such established Welsh internationals. So yeah, really an exciting time for the regions. If maybe slightly some disappointing results have come with that. But yeah, you can always have your say by tweeting us at BBC Radio Wales. Are the regions in good shape? Is future bright or dark for Welsh rugby?
Talking about Cup Rugby, as many of you listeners might know, that Cardiff will be buzzing with Cardiff Met and Cardiff Uni students getting ready to watch the Cardiff Clash this Wednesday. Amy Williams expressed her excitement ahead of the clash.
Yeah, I think we're all excited, and obviously last week wasn't our best result, so going into Cardiff Clash, I think we're just looking forward to it and hoping to get the win. And I think it's going to be the last Cardiff Clash for the third years as well, so that's important to them to make sure they enjoy it and stuff. But yeah, we're all excited for it, just ready to go really.
We also, at BBC Radio Wales, went around Cardiff Met Kincoid campus this week asking the Archers what they're expecting from the game.
I'm on Kincoid campus going to ask the Archers what they're going to do for this Cardiff Clash. Are you going to the Cardiff Clash?
Yeah, I am.
You're not playing, are you?
No.
As an ultra?
As an ultra.
And who do you think's going to win?
Met.
Both teams?
Both teams.
Clean sweep?
Yeah, easy.
Battered?
Smashed.
Didn't you say you were working it?
Yeah, working for Cardiff Uni.
Oh, Cardiff Uni, you heard it here first. Cardiff Met, not good. Who do you think's going to win, though?
Cardiff Uni.
Whoa, no, not Cardiff Uni. Holly, are you going to the Cardiff Clash?
I am.
And what do you think the score's going to be?
In the boys or the girls?
Both.
I think the girls are going to win, 50-25. Boys, 2-point game, don't know what the score will be.
And what do you think the score prediction is going to be for both games?
Men's 32-17, women's 36-16.
So you think it's going to be an Archers win?
Yeah.
You guys, are you going to the Cardiff Clash?
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I am.
Who do you think's going to win?
Definitely Matt.
Obviously, both teams.
Sorry?
Both teams going to win, Cardiff Met? Men's and women's?
Yeah.
You going out after?
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Revs?
Yep.
Nice, I'll see you there. Are you going out after? Revs?
100%.
2 for 1?
2 for 1 indeed.
Going out after?
Yes.
Revs? 2 for 1?
Yes.
Lovely. Last question, who is your favourite player?
Josh Fart.
Of course it is. For all of you Cardiff Met fans, we are lucky to be joined by Cardiff Met's captain, Ewan Guy. Croeso, Ewan. So the second round of Cardiff Clash is just around the corner. Are you excited to be back to playing in Cardiff Arms Park?
Yeah, look, it's a really exciting venue to play. Get the most fans pretty much any game of the year, so it's buzzing. Been building up to it all week, basically. As soon as Swansea finishes, just look forward to this game.
Yeah, you mentioned the fans there. It's obviously such a massive spectacle. Over 5,000 tickets sold already. The Clash is really becoming a big date on the Welsh sporting calendar. How does it feel to be a part of it?
Yeah, look, it's massive. I remember coming in my first year and watching it, well, trying to remember watching it. But like you just always sort of think, well, hopefully one day I'll be playing, and then playing last year and now captain this year, it's just mega to be a part of. It's something that you probably never forget. It'll probably be one of the best days of rugby I'll play. Won't get that many fans probably ever in my life again, so be buzzing to play.
And what are you and your team obviously going to be doing this time to maintain that winning streak against Cardiff Uni and to make sure that you do get this double this year?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask me what we do in comparison to how we view them. I mean, since we've been at our little rocky patch, we've tried to take onus a lot away from the other teams, put it back on us, what we doing well, what we can do better. Obviously coming off the back of beating Swansea, where we should have probably stuck a couple more points on them. It's just making sure we get our accuracy right, and then if we play well, I'm not sure they'll be able to handle us, to be honest.
And on Bucks now, Bucks Super Rugby now obviously becoming so popular amongst rugby fans. Over your time at Met, have you noticed a clear growth within university sport?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when I was younger, you didn't potentially think this was an avenue you could take to become a professional rugby player. But now there's multiple names you can go to that showcase the talent that's come from uni into Bucks Super Rugby. And I mean, for me, looking at what I'm going to do next, there's loads of clubs, not just in England, in Scotland, Wales, Australia. Like, they look at BSR as a high level of rugby and something that can translate to professional rugby after that as well. So it has grown like exponentially, I think.
And being in your final year here at Cardiff Met, what has been your favourite memory so far this season?
Rugby wise or just anyone?
We'll stick to rugby.
Generally fine.
No, generally's fine, whatever.
No, so far for rugby, it was probably the Loughborough game. I mean, I had an interview after that, and I generally didn't know what to say. We were going through a little bit of a tough spell, had a few losses, a couple draws, and that just reconfirmed to everyone that we're still there, still knocking on the door. But there's been a lot of good memories this year. This team is really tight. Like, you say it every year, but everyone genuinely just loves each other. So I'm hoping that'll be the difference this year compared to where we were last year.
Yeah, definitely. And just to finish off, you've obviously done the double over Swansea, possibly Cardiff on Wednesday. How would it feel to be crowned the undisputed kings of University Wales?
Yeah, it's good. I've got a couple mates at Swansea who I went to school with, so I've already had the little bragging rights over them. And then there's a few at Cardiff I know as well, so it's good, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't mean a lot apart from you can rub shoulders with them and just go, yeah, I've got one over you here. Don't have to say it, they just know. So that's good.
Nice bit of uni rivalry there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much, Ewan. I do appreciate you coming in, and good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We're all hoping for an Archers win, don't you worry? Now to hockey news, where we see that the women's GB team defeat against the Netherlands with a 5-1 loss, and the men's GB team also losing their game against Netherlands with a 1-2 loss in Argentina in the first round of the Pro League. We welcome Wales and GB goalkeeper Rhys Payne to talk about the GB's team performance so far. Croeso, Rhys.
Hello. Yeah, so GB men suffered 2 defeats to the Netherlands, who previously won the Pro League last season. So obviously a strong opposition. And yeah, with 2 Welshmen in the side, Jacob Draper and Rupert Shipley, who is now joint captain of GB. It's just a great honour, and it's great for people to idolise them both, and for a pathway for Welsh athletes, not just in the Commonwealth Games, but for Olympic kind of aspirations. So yeah, just to see them on even like TNT Sports and dominant channels such as that is a great thing for Welsh hockey.
And of course, we've mentioned that they've lost 2 games now, but what does that mean for them in this league standing now? Yeah, so top 3 finish in the Pro League is really important for GB hockey as for funding purposes. Really, it's no secret that national lottery funding. So the higher the finish, the more kind of money they kind of generate for the program, and so they can kind of feed down into like performance talent kind of centres, and so an EDP, which I was a part of. So yeah, it's great for the senior men doing well. We're all backing them. Obviously for the senior women too. They're kind of in a transitional kind of period from probably 2016 really, where they won gold in Rio in the Olympics, where they were really stand-up performers, and kind of having the decline from that, just to rebuild kind of core values and infrastructure and that kind of setup. So yeah, just 2 different trajectories between the men and the women, but it's always good to see them on global stages in Argentina playing hockey. So yeah. And you mentioned now that the women's won gold in Rio in 2016, and you were saying that it's important to stay in the top 3 because obviously the Olympics is this year coming now in 2024 in Paris. So how important is that, and how amazing would that be to see Welsh players go to Paris to play hockey, to represent their country? Yeah, for sure. Like even women like Sarah Jones and Leah Wilkinson, who is part of Wales last season, who went to Tokyo Olympics alongside Jacob Draper and Rupert Shipley. Having 4 Welsh athletes go to the Olympics from Wales is inspiring to a generation without being too corny. Like it is, and actually having the success, and hopefully long and may it continue. And for Team Wales and the uncertainty around the Commonwealth Games, obviously maybe not be in Australia or may not be, we still really don't know yet. We do know the Olympics is coming up, so having them athletes from Team Wales but representing GB is always a great honour, and yeah, really good for them. Well, thank you very much, Rhys. Diolch yn fawr iawn. We move on now to the Commonwealth Games, which is big news this week in the world of sports. In July, Australian State Victoria cancelled the 2026 Games as it was due to the stage, and attempts to find a replacement host have so far failed. We heard from Alf Dinney, Welsh international hockey player who has participated at Commonwealth Games at Birmingham and in the Gold Coast, to talk about how his team is facing the uncertainty.
I wouldn't say the uncertainty around the Commonwealth Games is affecting the group too much at the moment. We'll be reconnecting in January as a senior men's training squad, so getting back together will be really good. I'd say probably the longer it kind of rolls on unresolved in terms of a host nation and the games definitely going ahead. I suppose it will start to build a bit of tension in the group, I imagine. It's certainly like a major competition, an event for any of the players to get selected for and get to represent Wales at. Yeah, obviously holding out. Hopefully they secure a host nation and the Commonwealth Games does go ahead 2026. But yeah, we'll be certainly cheering on our Welsh athletes in the Paris Olympic Games in the meantime.
So, Reece, listening back to that clip, how detrimental is a lack of Commonwealth for these less mainstream sport athletes and sports themselves?
Yeah, for sure. Just to start with, like, the training, kind of disrupts your training, kind of season, your long-term goals. And also, most of these athletes in Wales actually probably have jobs, like part-time jobs, not fully funded athletes, and that kind of taking that time off, looking at the Commonwealth Games and then going, oh, there might not be a Commonwealth Games, kind of really disrupts your way of how you look at a season and how you might attack the summer kind of program, especially in hockey, with people. There's only two people, obviously Draper and Shipley, who are funded athletes. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's obviously not ideal, and nobody not wants to go to Commonwealth Games, but we can't. It's out of our control. We just got to keep. Well, Team Wales have just got to keep going, keep getting points on the board, so to speak, and yeah, just keep training.
Yeah, it's a shame, really. We need to find a new place for it.
Yeah, I think it's key over the last couple of years. I mean, Olivia Breen spoke this week, and she mentioned how concerned she was with the lack of a host in 2026. Being a para-athlete herself, participating in the Commonwealth Games and a World Championship, she knows how key these sorts of events are for these sports with less of a global audience. And, just as far as outreach and giving these athletes something to target. I just would like to ask the question to both of you, I suppose. Do you think Wales could step up to the plate and host the Commonwealth Games? I mean, we've seen what it's done for certain cities like, Birmingham, putting themselves on the sporting map and really invigorating the city. Do you think that is something we could do with Cardiff, Reece?
Yeah, for sure. I think Cardiff has hosted a number of amazing sporting and global events, such as, football Champions League finals, swimming competitions, maybe down at Cardiff Bay. So we definitely have the infrastructure and the velodrome, cycling velodrome at Newport. So it would be spread across South Wales. It wouldn't be just like a city like Birmingham. It could be called like Wales Commonwealth Games or like South Wales potentially. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas here, but I'd love to see home nations kind of Commonwealth Games representing the country is no greater honour, and in front of family and friends.
Yeah, I think we could do it, to be fair. It's, like you said, Wales, it's a growing sport country. Like, we've got so many people now representing our country going everywhere to play the games that they love and to do it for their country because they love their country. It'd be nice to see it in Wales because, obviously, being Welsh myself, you don't see many of that. And the Commonwealth, it's huge. Look what it has done to Birmingham. I think Wales can do it, especially in Cardiff. It's a capital city and it's a beautiful city, so I don't see why not.
Yeah, I think there's definitely pros and cons for both. There's obviously financial issues with it, but at the same time, it really could be that stepping stone to really put Cardiff on the map from a sports standpoint and just from an events and worldwide standpoint. So yeah, definitely a lot to think about, but hopefully they'll get that sorted soon. In other news now, in cycling, have you ever used Nextbike before? Well, you won't be able to for long because the bike sharing scheme is being scrapped for good after thousands of bikes were stolen or vandalised. Nextbike said 3,000 bikes had gone missing or been damaged in Cardiff, Vale and Glamorgan since the scheme began in 2018.
It has been Nextbike's most successful scheme in the UK in terms of usage, with 2 million rentals across both counties doing its lifespan. The company took the bikes away temporarily in 2021 after it was reported that hundreds of bikes had been stolen.
Cardiff Councillor Dan DeAth said the local authority was optimistic it could find a new bike share partner. Ella, how damaging is this loss of a cycling scheme to public health in Cardiff and Vale?
I mean, public health in general is important in any country, and, the health benefits in just cycling around a city it's a lot better than getting an Uber or just walking, because walking can take so long. Also, cycling is just, you'll get there quicker, but you don't have to spend the money on Uber. You're having a bit of exercise, and I think people will honestly really miss it because bikes are they're everywhere. They've always been everywhere. You can't really travel without them, and I think students are going to miss them.
Yeah, we're obviously like a big city. We've got 3 universities here. It's a big opportunity for students as far as travel. It's a cheap way of travel. Like you mentioned, good for the environment, keeping people fit. I think it's such a loss for the city and something they can hopefully sort out. And, especially now, we really do have the infrastructure here in Wales for cyclists, certain cycling paths or cycling roads. We've got some outstanding parks within Cardiff, that can be used for cycling. So it would be a real shame for the city, not only from a sporting standpoint, but just from a public health standpoint.
Yeah, and we have got, cycling lanes, like you said, and people cycle from campus to campus. I think we still need them. But that's all from us, and thank you for listening. I'm Ella Jones.
I'm Cameron Hitt. Tune in next week for more Welsh sport news on BBC Radio Wales.